Hey guys, it's Cham here from CT Marketing. So today's Sunday weekly live. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the five main sales objections. When I say sales objections, these are the most common ones, and we'll go through this. And not necessarily these are objections that they really have. They could be complaints, they could be even things that just come out of their mouth without even thinking about them. So let me go through them. If you manage to overcome these objections, that will solve most of your problems when it comes to sales closing. Because when it comes to closing, the only problem every one of us face is an objection. The objection comes and then we buy the objection. When we buy the objection, that means we give up. So what I'm trying to say here is don't buy it. Just look at it like a professional, like an advisor who can guide them through that objection. And the idea is to help them. So as long as you have this in your mindset, then you are willing to do whatever it takes to help them. So you need to know that once you have that mindset, it becomes easier to overcome objections because they just come up with something. Okay. So the first objection, well, I'm going to go through the five objections. First one is price. Second one is lack of need or urgency. Then trust or credibility issues. Fourth is decision maker issues. And finally, the timing objections. So as long as you can overcome these, because these are the biggest ones they come up with, they will have different varieties of all of these. But as long as you have an idea, then you can overcome all these objections. So price, how do they come up with the price objection? They will say either it's too expensive, or I can't afford it, or there's no budget for it, or it's we've gone over the budget. So these are all price objections. So when they come up with the price objection, this is probably the most popular one, and this is probably the biggest myth as well. Price is a myth. So if you can prove to them that what you have is going to solve their problem and it's more valuable than what you're charging, then it won't become an issue. They will find the money. For example, if someone has some sort of disease or some pain, this is a pain, right? So you are trying to uh, give a solution to the pain. So if you know, okay, this is the pain, they have a back pain, okay, they have a big belly, they are overweight, these are all pains. So if you know how much they would pay to get rid of the pain, then if it's $5,000, you can charge them 5,000 because they're willing to pay as long as you know that you can solve their problem and they believe that. So this is where you need to get to. They need to believe that you can do it. We'll get to those ones later, but that's where the price comes in. So if the price comes in as an objection, you need to talk about the return on investment in a long-term way. It's not about how much you pay today, it's the solution that they get for the rest of their life. Or maybe break down the cost and let them know, okay, this is what it consists of, and tell them, okay, this is what you get. And within this time frame, you're gonna get these results, then they will agree with you. And if, for example, you have a course that you charge, I don't know if it's a 6 months course and you charge $6,000 for it, for example. If you say $6,000, they might think, okay, I don't have 6,000 now. I only have 2,000. I can't afford to do this. I don't have the money. I can't. I don't have the budget, whatever. So what you can do is come up with a price plan so that they can afford it now. They couldn't afford it before because it was 6,000, but now you say it's only 1,200 per month if you want to pay monthly, and we got a deal. And it'll be like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I've done so many different varieties of that. I have come up with a plan where we give, okay, I'm not going to have the money. I don't have the money now, but I will have the money in 7 days' time or 10 days' time. Then I run a payment verification, or I send them a payment link. Nothing goes through until the 10th day. So they are registering with a payment link. They put the credit card details or debit card details, whatever it is, but they register, and in 10 days, the payment goes through and they have committed already. If you want to sign an agreement and go through that, that's also fine. It's up to you to decide. We don't necessarily sign agreements. We have a very strong relationship with our clients. So, but it's advisable. I would advise you to go that way, because sometimes you can find people who might try to avoid it. Also, another thing is I've done payment in arrears for some other clients that I trust. I say, okay, rather than you pay in advance, you pay in arrears. You pay after the services, because I believe in my team. I believe in what we are providing. So sometimes I say, okay, that's okay. If I trust the client really, and if the client came through a referral from another client, then I would definitely consider that, because they came through another person. So I don't mind them. So these are the things that you can do. And this is what we do. Sometimes you have to be flexible. You need to think about them. You are actually trying to help, right? So when you're trying to help, you need to actually find ways to help. That's when you see the ways. Okay, this is something that I can do for this to work. Sometimes I ask the client, how can we make it work? How can we get started? You tell me. And then they will say, okay. Because say, for example, we have a package for $2,000 per month. And they say, I really like the 2001, but I can't afford this now, right now. I only can afford $1,000 a month. Then we say, okay, we will create a package for $1,000 a month. Once we get to that level where you can afford, then you upgrade to that package. These are things that we do. We try to come up with a solution. We try to come up with a way to help the client. So the idea is you need to have that in your mind. How can I help this client? When you have that, and when you ask the client, they will tell you, okay, I can't do this, but I think I probably can do this. So if you do that, then it becomes so much easier for you to deal with your clients and close them. Okay. The second objection, the most popular objection, is lack of need or urgency. So they say, okay, we don't need this right now. Oh, this is not a priority. I have more important things to take care of. So for me, it's kind of easier than other businesses probably, because, or it's how you obtain the information as well. With us, we generate leads, we bring sales, we book calls. So this is high priority for any business. So it's very unlikely they say, "Ah, I don't need this right now," unless they have a business, or they are working, they're doing a job, and this is kind of part-time trying to build a business. In that case, yeah, they say, oh, yeah, I need to prioritize on my job, and this is no priority. I can do it later. But even for that, I will tell you how to bring it in a way to convince them to take action. So they say we don't need it right now. So you need to be prepared for these objections before the call. You need to probably ask these questions as well. That's something that we do. On when they book a call, there is a questionnaire that they need to fill. It's not like a long questionnaire where there is hundreds of questions, but it's about 5 questions. But one of these questions is, when would you like to start? And if they say I'm not in a rush, or I don't mind those 6 months time or something like that, then we don't even book the call. We Even if they book the call, we say book it in 6 months, because that's when they need it. If they're coming saying 6 months time, or we don't need it right now, then it's no point spending the time, because they're wasting their time and we're wasting our time. So in that way, so try to qualify them with some questions beforehand. So when they come, okay, so Most of the time, they say, I need it ASAP. I need to start as soon as possible. Then you have the answer already. So you said before the call, when you booked the call, you said you need it ASAP. Then they'll be like, oh, yes, I did. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. So you need to ask in different ways. Sometimes this is just a complaint. They're just saying, oh, I have so many things going on. Then what they're saying is not that they don't need it. What they're saying is they have other things that they need to put effort on. In my case, what we do is that's exactly why you need to do it right now because you don't have the time. You didn't have the time 6 months ago to do it, and your life will be the same. So in 6 months' time, you won't have the time again. So if you get it started, if you spend a couple of hours getting registered, we will put the efforts for you so that you save that time. Because what we do is social media marketing, organic marketing, and we allocate a team member, either full-time or part-time, to do the whole uh, lead generation, organic lead generation thing. So we create content, we share content, we reach out, we engage, we build trust, and we book calls. We do the whole thing. So when we do the whole thing, we tell them we spend 200 hours on your platforms a month. So you're going to save 100 to 200 hours, depending on how much time you spent. And these are professionals who have been doing this 24/7, as in like as full-time as their full-time job. So they know what they're doing. And you are probably testing different ways. They know what to say, they know what not to say. So these ways you can convince, okay, this is why you need to take action now, not wait until the end of I don't know, summer, whatever, right? And create urgency through limited time offers. Sometimes you can say, okay, this is 2,000 now, but we're going to increase it to 3,000 in the next 2 months. So if you take action now, you will get a very good deal. And you can even put in another bonus on top of it. With us, what we do is we have a platinum package. And with the platinum package, we say if you take action now, we will include a brand new website for you. So they go with the social media marketing. On top of that, we build a website for them free of charge. But for that, they have to take action now. They'll be like, wow, I'm going to miss out. If I come back in 3 months, 6 months time, I'm going to miss out on the website, which is going to be about $3,000 to $5,000. So I'm going to take the advantage of that. So you need to come up with something that they need, that you think they need, and make that a priority. So that's another way of doing it. Another way of overcoming that objection is you need to show risks of costs of inaction. So if you don't do this today, if you don't start this today, or you can start with saying, if you started this today, in 3 months' time, you will have 10. That's what we do. So we book 10 calls, at least 10 calls per month. After the third month, we guarantee that. So we say, okay, so if you start today, in 3 months' time, after 3 months, you will have at least 10 calls booked. So from the 10 calls, say, for example, your closing rate is 30%, you will have 3 new clients converted. And if these are high tickets, say for example, $5,000 per client, that's 15,000 US dollars per month that they are missing from the third month. So if you wait for 3 months and get started in 3 months, you'll have to wait for that $15,000 to come in another 3 months. So that is a loss of revenue. So you can come up with these kind of ways to give some sort of urgency and the need. And another thing that you can do is you can share success stories and industry trends. So you can say, oh, this is what they're doing now. So we need to do it right now. Otherwise, you're going to fall behind. Or you can pull some testimonials or success stories and bring them up. Because sometimes it's not exactly they don't need it right now. It's probably they have some sort of non-belief. They're not believing what whether you can get results. So that's what it is. So you need to bring these up and show them. I'll get to the next biggest objection as well, which is trust or credibility issues. This we had when we first started. And I can remember one guy was very happy to go ahead, but we didn't have any clients actually. We didn't have any testimonials. We probably had one client, and this guy said, "I want to look at some testimonials." And I'm like, "Sorry, sir, we don't have any testimonials. Why?" And he said, I said, because you are going to be our first client. I think it was, he was going to be the first client. And he said, okay, then I don't want to go ahead. So when you have some testimonials you can share, how do I know this will work is a question. So that means they don't trust. Bad past experiences. Most of these people online, they have a lot of bad experiences because there are a lot of scams. People try to take money and they don't deliver. So these are things that are happening every single day. So people are reluctant to spend their money or invest their money, should I say. So in this case, you need to come up with a lot of testimonials. With us, we have so many video testimonials as well. It's not just written testimonials because written testimonials anyone can write. You can write, saying put a name and put Germany or France, whatever, and then put John or Jack, and then write a testimonial, right? Anyone can do that. I'm not saying you are going to do that, but people don't believe that. But if you get your clients to do a testimonial, well, I'll tell you how to get a testimonial as well, because that was a question that one of my clients asked. Because if you ask for a testimonial from someone, from a client, they they are not very likely to give because they don't want to be in front of a camera recording. They feel awkward. So the best way to do is have a call with your client on Zoom, record the call, and then ask them, how do you feel about our services? Then they will tell you they will give you a genuine feedback. So if it's a very good feedback, then you ask the client at the same time. There are some testimonials on my website that has me asking the client on the call, can I share this as a testimonial? And the client says, of course, yes. Right. So once they have said something, if you ask them, can I use this as a testimonial? They will say yes. So that's a very good way to create testimonials. So these are things that you can do or share case studies. Maybe if you have analytics of what you've achieved for your previous clients, maybe analytics, if you're a social media marketing person or something like that, then you can get analytics from YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, Meta, whatever, and then show them this is my client and this is where they started. This is where we took them to. I have so many clients with analytics that we can share. So that's also another one. Uh, Another way of doing it is we used to do it, we don't do it anymore. Give them a free trial. Okay, they are not sure. So you say, okay, I'll give you a free trial, maybe 7 days, maybe 10 days, maybe 14 days. I wouldn't recommend anything more than that because that will um, give them the freedom and they won't value your services that way. It'll give them the freedom to pull out and also they won't value your services that way. Most of the time when we gave a free trial, who didn't carry on, they didn't even give us a review. They didn't even give us a feedback. They didn't give no testimonial. They said, okay, I can't afford. So it was the same objection after the free trial. So they came up with a different objection after the free trial. So that kind of thing can happen if you do, and then you can get discouraged by working so hard, assuming that the client is gonna carry on after the free period, and then they stop at the time. So if that happens, it's not good. So yeah, Don't do that. I don't recommend it, but what you can do is charge them and give a money back guarantee. That's not as bad as that, because most of the time a money back guarantee, they would, if they're happy, they're not going to ask for the money back. But with the free trial, they would feel like it's an additional expense, so they will stop it. Once they have paid, it's gone through the bank, so it's not an additional expense. They don't feel it. So that's the difference. So these are the things that you can do to build more credibility. There were instances where one of my clients wanted to speak to another client. Well, before that person became a client, she wanted to check with another client, and she spoke to two of my clients, and they both recommended, highly recommended. So she took action. So that's also something that you can do. So these are the things that you can do to get build trust and build credibility. The fourth objection is decision maker objection. So this is where when they say, "Oh, I need to consult, I need to ask my wife, I need to speak to blah blah blah, I need to consult my accountant or whatever." So this can be avoided if you ask them in a qualifying question, "Are you the decision maker?" So that won't be there, because they say, yes, I'm the decision maker. Then yeah, if they say I'm not, then you need to get the decision maker on the call as well when you're doing the sales presentation, because after the sales presentation, or if you do the sales presentation to the wrong person, if that person goes and tells someone else, it's not going to work that way, because that person is not going to do the sales presentation the same way you did. Maybe he's convinced or she's convinced, but that person might not be able to convince the person who's making the decision, or you might have to redo the whole thing again. So it's better off you asking the question and getting to know the answer, and then you know, okay, this is what it is. And so get the key decision making people involved in the discussion or the meeting as well. Um, you can have presentations done on the call so that they can share something with the person. So you can record it, share the recording with them. If you are presenting something, you can show them. That's something that you can do. Or if you think it's something more valuable and it should go through different layers of management, then you can have the first call and then you can have a follow-up call. If it's the person in front of you, you think that that person can make the decision, but they are trying to avoid the sale by coming up with an objection like that. Sometimes you can ask, okay, what is there to ask? Is it about the price? Is it the product or service? Or is it dealing with us? So it's most of the time it's the three P's. So the person, as in me or my business, the price of the product, or uh, the product itself, the service. So ask them, and then they will most likely tell you, okay, it's the price. Then you can ask, what about the price? So what it is they are telling you what the objection is in a different way. They are telling, oh, I need to ask someone else. But when you ask, okay, what is that you need to ask? If they say the price, that means they have an objection about the price. So you ask them, okay, what about the price? Is it the payment plan, or if it's the first installment, or is it the whole cost? What it is, then you get a clearer understanding. Because if you have different features in it, if it's to do with the whole, if you're selling a car, it might be to do with the deposit. I don't know. So if you get more clarity, they will give you the answer, and from that you can them make a better decision, or you can change their mind. I'm not gonna say change their mind, but you can provide information to make the right decision. So the fifth and the final most common objections is the timing objection. So they will say, we're not ready yet. It's not the right time. Let's revisit at a later time. So these are stores. They are trying to avoid you, basically. So when they say it, you can ask why the timing isn't good. That's one thing. So why is it not the right time? Emphasize opportunity cost and risk of waiting. So what it's about, if you wait, it's the loss of sales. Again, the loss of revenue that they could have created by taking action today rather than waiting for another 6 months. So that you can emphasize on. Why is it? And also this can be avoided by having a qualifying question at the beginning or before the call. So if they say, "Oh yeah, I want to go ahead," then you say, "Yes, you said you want to go ahead ASAP. What happened to the timing now?" So that's something that you can ask if they gave you the answer, and if they said it's not the right time in the question itself, then avoid the call because it's not gonna. You won't be able to convert that person in that case. Um, Another thing that you can do is if they say, don't give up on the client, but you can ask, okay, when do you think is the right time? I have had clients who said, okay, I need 2 months, and after 2 months, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it. And they came back in 2 months and they went ahead and registered with us. So if that's the case, maybe they are going through something, right? It could be a genuine request as well. They are probably talking about something actually that happened. So it might be, there was a client who was going through a divorce. She said, "Give me 2 months, I'll come back. I need to do this, but it's not the right time." And it was a genuine answer that she gave me. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. When do you want me to call you back? Or when do you want me to send you a message or follow up? She said, after 2 months. My team reached out to her. We booked a call after 2 months, and then she went ahead, and everything was sorted by then. So that's something that you can do. So these are the five objections. The price, could be the timing, it could be the urgency, it could be the trust, or it could be to do with what was it again? The decision maker who's making the decision. So if you can overcome all these objections, that means you can tackle most of the sales and you can convert. The idea is to help them. Have that in the mind and try to see how you can help them, no matter what they say, because it's like a kid. And the kid will come up with any excuse not to go to school in the morning. So you are like the parent. You would understand, okay, try to understand what they're trying to say. It's not necessarily, "Oh, I have a tummy ache, I don't feel well, I think I've got a cold, blah, 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 it's raining, this and that." But as a parent, you need to come up with a solution. How can I make my child go to school? So that's the way of looking at it because you are trying to help. You have a helping mindset. You're trying to help that person achieve their goals. So if you look at it that way, you will come up with an answer, and that will clearly give you results as well as your client because it's going to help you get more businesses and close clients. Until you close, you can't serve because that person doesn't become a client. So keep that in mind. You have to close in order to serve that person. Otherwise, you won't be able to help them. So try to close every single sale. Do the best you can and commit to it. See how you can come up with a way to help them. And trust me, you will find a way to convert them, and that will make them happy. They will make you happy, and that will grow your business.